episode 2 of 15 Minutes of Flame with Aaron and my son AJ. We decided to switch things up a bit today, recording in the beautiful outside weather here in Charlotte, North Carolina. My son wanted to do this by the pool. It looks like it's a great idea. I mean, nice out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so today's episode, we're going to talk about something that came up this weekend. We actually visited a church for the first time in a long time. And there was a question that AJ asked that I thought would be a good discussion topic for today's show. So we're going to just start there. So, and then towards the end of it, we will go a little bit into what's coming up for AJ this week and then this weekend as an exciting football season is about to kick off. So my son really loves playing football, so we're going to wish him the best, and we're going to be looking forward to that. So, all right. So we'll talk about our adventure on Sunday. We went to a church right down the street. We actually walked there, Presbyterian Church. Real nice message. Congregation was nice. The service was pretty succinct. It got really to the point. It did a lot of call and response type praise and worship, if you're not familiar with Presbyterian churches. So it was my first time being in the church in, I don't know, over a year and a half or so. Then AJ, I want to say, I think your grandma took you to church at some point, maybe a little. You remember? I don't know.
I remember the time when Zia's auntie took me to a church.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She did take you to church. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, that's right. So you have been to church more recently than me. So, yeah, either way, good experience. But there was a question that AJ asked that I thought was a good question that we could explain and pontificate on a bit. So, AJ, you remember the question you asked me? Mm-hmm. What was it?
It was, why is there so many white people here?
Why are there so many white people here? I remember you asked me that. And it threw me off a little bit, but it really shouldn't have, given the environment. So, let me ask you this. So when we walked into church, and just for a little bit of background, so we live in Uptown Charlotte. This church is maybe also located in Uptown Charlotte, but maybe only a quarter of a mile away from where we stay in Uptown. So a little bit of background on the church itself in terms of locale, and then we'll get into some more specifics in a minute. But so when we walked into the church, there was a stark contrast in terms of the environment. So I could see from your eyes where you would ask that question, given the demographical makeup of what you were seeing. So given that, how did it make you feel walking into that environment where we were really two of the only black people in the church? How did it make you feel?
Great.
How did it make you feel when you walked in?
It kind of felt like, kind of made me kind of scared and kind of embarrassed, because we were like the only people that were back there. Maybe that's why.
Okay. So why were you scared or embarrassed? Why?
Because there was a lot of white people there, and there was only only us were black, and there were a lot of people. Maybe the other people were white.
So do you think that the people that were there, do you think that they were dangerous? Do you think that they were going to do something?
No, it's just like I didn't like I didn't like it when usually like us that were black and there's a lot and the other people were white.
Okay. Just from a visual perspective, it made you nervous because you noticed a lot of people that didn't look like you, and you felt kind of alone, just me and you in this environment. Is that what you're saying? Okay, that's fair on the surface. I think a lot of people, not only kids but also adults, can feel uncomfortable in environments where there aren't a lot of people that look like them. But like I told you when we were there, you have to kind of dig a little deeper, because once we got there and once we sat down, how did the people treat us?
Nice.
Treat us nice, right? There wasn't any indication from the people that were there that they were treating us different. Did you think they were going? Did you think they treated us different?
No.
Okay, so, and that's really the takeaway. The thing I talked about when you and I talked about it initially was that sometimes you're going to be in an environment where there aren't people that look like you on the outside, and is that always a bad thing? No, right? Now, I can understand, again, we tend to go around things and people that make us feel comfortable. And one of the most comfortable things is visually being around someone that has the same skin tone or same experiences or, some of the same thoughts as you, right? But at the same time, there are lots of people in the world. There are lots of nice people. There are some people that aren't so nice. And their ability to be a nice person, or your ability to be a nice person, isn't really based around your skin color. I mean, skin color is something that you can't control. When you're born, to a set of parents, it's based on your biology and things like that, and the racial makeup of your parents and things like that. But once you get on this earth and you start experiencing things as a human, then I always stress, look at people for what they do and not what they look like. And I think it's a good thing to have a bond with people that look like us, look like you, look like me, look like your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your friends. I get that. I think those are valuable experiences to have. At the same time, I think that when you truly grow as a person and as a young man, when you can enjoy experiences with all people, when the first thing that you think about when you're around a group of people isn't do they look like me, is do they treat me well, do we have some shared experiences, do we have things in common, can we have fun together, right? And in a lot of ways, we tend to believe that that's based upon race in a lot of ways, but not all the time. Because I can say that at the church, and I felt some of the same things you felt, not to your degree, because I'm kind of used to it by now. But at the same time, I will say that the message that he gave, and I told you this, the message that the pastor gave, do you think it was only for white people?
No.
I think it was for everybody, right? So he gave a good message, and me as a human, as a man, I could take that message and internalize it and share it with other people, no matter what they look like. And I think it's a good message with a good content. So the point is, I don't ever want you to feel like when you walk into a room that you're less than anybody. Even when you walk into a room, if you feel like that you're more than anybody, that can be problematic too, especially if it's based on just your race. I mean, anybody, whether it's a white person, a black person, Asian, whatever demographic you are, when you walk into a room, it's about, where's my comfort zone? And then sometimes my comfort zone can be based around how a person treats me versus how they look like. Because you can be around people that look like you that don't treat you well. Do you want to be around those type of people? Right. So I think where a lot of the things that you're going to learn as a young man, growing up, is that are there going to be places and things that happen to you where you can say, oh man, I wondered if they did this to me because I'm black, right? Um, and that could be a question. I don't think that should always be your first question, though. Your first question is to, man, I wonder why this person did this. It could be a lot of different reasons before you get to race. If race plays a factor for people and how they treat you, then that just means that they use something just to have an issue. They were going to have an issue based upon how they look at the world, with anybody. It's not you personally. But I will say that, the way that you should look at people should be based around, hey, is this person a good person? Am I a person am I treating them nice? Are they treating me nice? Can we communicate and have a good relationship? And sometimes you can and sometimes you can. But but looking at the world purely based around race, black and white, you're going to grow up to be a very angry person if that's your whole outlook on life. And you need to really, I want you to really grow up to be a young man that's, not looking at the world like that all the time. Are there situations that come up where things may happen? Sure. And we can talk about those. But in situations where that isn't the case, then we don't need to create like a boogeyman where there isn't one, white, black, or whatever. So, I do think, I think we'll go back to that church. We'll try some other churches around. And I'm not traditionally especially at this point in my life, I haven't been a very religious person recently, but I do, even from a secular standpoint, I do appreciate the idea of, going to a church, seeing families, people connected, people sharing, good experiences and with each other, and even some of the messages that the pastor gives, are things that you can take out into the world, no matter whether or not you're religious or not, and still grow from those messages. So sometimes it's just about listening to something that you can learn something from, and even if you aren't a religious person, I think anybody could have walked into that church, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, kind of heard or said the same thing, and I think the takeaway would have been positive in any scenario. So, but it looks like we got a couple minutes left for our 15 minutes of flame are up. So I just wanted to mention real quick. So you got football coming up. Excited about that?
Yeah.
Got practice on Wednesday. Game on Saturday. So what are you looking forward to with football?
Becoming faster.
Okay, yeah, you've been doing really good. In terms of your speed and your abilities have been growing. I've coached you for a couple years. Last couple of times you played, I've kind of sat back and just watched you grow and learn how to take instructions from others. I think that's been good, and I look forward to the football season too. So, what position do you want to play the most?
Running back and safety.
Running back and safety. Okay. Yeah. So. Make sure you get ready for the season. Make sure you focus, concentrate, listen, and we're gonna have a great season. And I think at the end of the day, it's just about having fun at this point. Okay, so I think that's about all we got. Got about 30 more seconds left. Don't want to run over our 15 minutes of flame, so I think we're gonna sign off. I'll say thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Anything you want to say, AJ?
Hope you have a good day and smash that like button.
Bye.